Good morning, everybody. Tony Ann Fardet here, President and COO of the Billion Dollar Girl, coming to you live for Motivation Monday. What are we talking about today, this beautiful Monday morning? It's about 9:37 Eastern Standard Time this morning in New York. Talking to you today about personal accountability. So this can apply to everybody, but I'm going to be specifically talking to BDC reps, BDC agents, internet coordinators. So my hashtag today is hashtag breaking the benchmarks. So here's the thing. Most BDC managers do a really poor job, or internet managers do a really poor job at communicating to their staff what the benchmarks are. The managers know what the benchmarks are, but the reps or the agents or the coordinators have no idea. And so what I'm going to say is, number one, make sure you're communicating those. What I'm going to say to the reps and the agents is this. What I've heard often in my 18 years in this industry is that, well, I have a weak manager, and so they don't give me goals and they don't set objectives, and so, what am I really supposed to do? Well, that's a weak answer, and what I mean by that is this. You have to hold yourself personally accountable. So I'm going to teach you how to do that now. So whether or not you have a weak manager, you're going to learn right now how you can just hold yourself accountable. So number one, remember this. Do you want to be part of the solution or part of the problem? Because those are your only two options. Do you want to make excuses or make money? Because those are your only two options. So what am I talking about here? Well, first of all, you need to be aware of what the benchmarks are. So we're going to talk about three main points to hold yourself accountable this morning. So the first one is going to be the internet lead benchmarks. So if you are a BDC agent, internet coordinator, whatever you call yourself, I know there's a bunch of different terms out there, the number of leads that you have, active leads, okay? So we're not just talking about fresh leads, but the number of leads that you have in your pipeline to be worked at any given time, you should be making appointments with 35% of those leads. So let's assume you had 100 in your pipeline today. You should be making 35 appointments within that given month of working those 100 leads in your pipeline. With those appointments, you should have a 60% show ratio, and with your shows, you should have a 60% close ratio. You need to be looking at what you are missing. It is not your concern to worry about the rest of your department, but it is your concern to worry about you. So what you need to be doing is, am I hitting that? Did I hit 35% appointments on my active internet leads? I didn't. Why not? Let me start listening to my phone calls. What's going on here? Did I have a 60% show ratio? I did. Great. I didn't. Why not? Did they close 60% of my internet shows? If I did, great. If I didn't, why not? So that's point one. Point two is your phone ups. So if you're taking phone ups, what are those benchmarks? Well, if you know your scripts, if you have a plan, if you're beginning with the end in mind, then you should be making appointments with 65 to 75% of the phone ups that you take. So if you take 10 phone ups, for every 10 phone ups you take, that's anywhere from 6 to 8 appointments. And then out of those 6 to 8 appointments that you schedule, you should have a 60% show ratio and a 60% sale ratio. And so if you're missing that, if you see, well, I'm only making appointments with 40% of the phone-ups I take, you need to figure out why. Or only 10% of my phone-ups are showing up. Well, they're probably not real appointments then. The person's just yesing you to death to get you off the phone. So can you control the department? No, that's the manager's job. Can you control how you improve yourself? Yes, and that's your job. The last and final point I want to talk about is outbound phone calls, okay? So I don't care what your manager expects of you. I'm going to tell you what you should be doing so that you can optimize your time and optimize and maximize what you produce from your department. You need to be making at least 120 outbound phone calls a day. It equates to 15 an hour. So you need to be keeping yourself on pace and paying attention to how many phone calls you're making per hour. If you make 15 phone calls per hour, you will make 120 phone calls a day. But that's only part one. Part two is, don't just make phone calls to make phone calls. So most reps will sign into their CRM. It doesn't matter what the CRM is, but they'll sign into their CRM, and they'll just start calling this work plan. It's got no rhyme or reason to it. It's got usually anywhere from 300, 400, 500. I've seen agents to do plans with 900 to-dos in it. Even if you made 200 phone calls, you're never going to get to 900 people. So what are we doing? So what should my order of priority be if I'm an agent? Well, number one, when I come in, I'm going to handle all my fresh leads. Number two, I'm going to then call my missed appointments from the day before. If you did all this work to schedule these appointments and they don't show up, why would you not be calling them? So I want to call my missed appointments. The third thing I want to do, and this one is so often missed and it boggles my mind, is I want to get back to the people that I actually made contact with, that I have scheduled follow-up with for that day. So if I told the person I will call you back today on July 30th, I want to call them back right now. If I told them I'm going to email you something on the 30th, I want to email them back. I want to check all my emails received. I want to check all my emails sent and see if I need to pick up somewhere. If I sent something to the customer and didn't hear back from them. What about my text messages sent? Do I need to be texting these people? Did I promise them a video? Did I promise them information on a vehicle? So you should be getting back to all your scheduled follow-ups for that day before you do anything else. Then at that point, you can get into your work plan. And even still, I would recommend that you put it in some sort of priority order. So I would say start with your fresh internet lead. So any internet lead that came in within the last 7 days, I want to call them immediately because it takes an average of 7 attempts to get somebody to pick up the phone. Next thing I probably want to do is my unsold follow-up from the day before. So I know there's a lot of people that say you should segregate the BDC department, and I agree with that, meaning maybe you should have just one special person or 2 special people that handle unsold follow-up. That's great. But if you put all the work in and made an appointment that showed up to the dealership yesterday and they did not buy a car, you should be following up with those people yourself. So that'd be the next thing that I would do. And then I would move into the rest of my work plan and finally touch on data mining in the event that you don't work in a department that has segregated responsibility. So the bottom line is you can hold yourself personally accountable as a rep or a BDC agent. I don't care if you have a manager, don't have a manager, the manager's weak, the manager doesn't do a great job, they don't coach, they don't this, they don't that. I'm not saying I agree with it. The point is you can hold yourself personally accountable. You can hashtag break the benchmarks. Happy Monday. Have a great week.